This is where I live. Welcome to my home. I threw everything away or sold everything. I don't have to worry about where I'm gonna go tomorrow.
Just be careful in here. This is a little sketch.
It's like we went into a portal in here.
The wickedest town in the West.
Country lifestyle. You get to close the gate at night. The government doesn't have to tell you what to do.
It's almost done. I want to drive it in the parade, 4th of July.
Historic Clarkdale, a company town.
The haunted Liberty Theater. Oh my God. Cheaper living costs. There's a revival happening.
Small towns are gonna come back because they're better places to live.
Yavapai Apache tribe.
A different country, sovereign nation.
Maybe the smallest police station.
1902 electric car.
Your granddad was a wild man. People can stay here now.
There's drawbacks to this life, but when you hit the highs, they are so high. When you have experience like this, that makes it all worth it.
So Bob, today, mega adventure, because you were saying this on the phone, and I was agreeing, this is one of the most mixed up parts of the country.
I love it.
And we're doing it in style.
We're doing it in style in this vehicle. This is a former heavy rescue fire truck. Everything is outside. This is all my cleaning and extra fuel. Same storage on the other side, clothes and extra water, but this is the good stuff.
Oh, wow. Is your nickname Diamond Plate Bob?
No.
This is where you're sleeping?
This is my bedroom. This is cedar lined. We took cedar out of an old cabin that we had in. Then coffee service, always coffee service. Maps. This is my desk, computers. No kitchen inside, the kitchen's outside. It's a little tight. Surprisingly, it's a 26-year-old vehicle, and I think it was used fairly heavily in the beginning, but this stuff is still actually tight, like new tight. This is the pantry. So then all my food and everything is out here.
What's this?
That is
air compressor?
an air compressor. I left all this on here. So when the power takeoff is on, 220 volts, 115 volts.
Doesn't this all fall over when you're driving?
Everything stays really solid. This is the kitchen.
That's nice. So the cooking smoke is out here.
Yeah, everything, all the cooking and stuff. I don't want that smell inside.
So Bob, you're on the road how much out of the year, living out of this?
All the time. This is where I live.
This is
my
home.
home. Welcome to my home.
Okay, so what sparked this lifestyle?
I was in radio, so I got fired. I don't know how many times that I've been fired, but anyway, I love radio, but radio does not love me back. So I decided, I thought, I'll find a better business. I'll start podcasting. So I was living in a duplex and I had my podcast. My idea was that I was going to sell advertising like local radio. Well, it worked okay for a couple of years. I actually had a couple good years. And then everybody and his brother got a podcast. So around COVID time, I found myself thinking, this is ridiculous. And there was almost a voice that said, go, just go. Kept getting louder and louder and louder. So I basically threw everything away or sold everything or gave it away and moved into a 2000 Ford ambulance.
So you were one of those first guys doing the ambulance living, right?
I think I might have been the first.
Big claim. That's a popular thing now,
Let's
right?
just say one of the guys, which drove me crazy. It was like, is that an ambulance? I'm gonna because everybody wanted, well, good luck redoing a new fire truck.
Okay, so Bob Sedona here. This is one of the so-called vortexes. Have you heard of these?
I have heard of the vortexes, and I'm already feeling it.
Are you feeling the vortex energy?
I'm already feeling the vortex.
So there's something energetically that happens, so they say?
Apparently. Have you heard about the orbs in Sedona?
No.
Oh, apparently there's orbs in Sedona. They say so on YouTube, so it must be true. And this is all iron in these mountains too, so.
That's what makes it red.
But it's also a conductor.
Are you a believer, Bob?
I mean, the vortexes?
Or something powerful here?
There's something powerful. All of Arizona is mystical. The entire Southwest is mystical because a lot of it, millions of years ago, was underwater. It was an ocean. So just imagine if the Atlantic Ocean dried up someday and it was like this.
Okay, so Sedona, as we can see, there's money here. A lot of people want to come for this beautiful environment. Sort of a bubbled up place, sort of removed from society. That's how I feel.
Well, it's an escape, and I think a lot of people are trying to escape the corporate world, and it depends on what your resources are. If you have a lot of resource, you can do a lot of things. If you don't have a lot of resource, you go out in a 20-year-old ambulance.
So Bob, a lot of my videos, as you know, because you were in one, that was 3 years ago in Quartzsite.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
3 years ago.
Yeah, Bob and I met southern Arizona,
Yeah.
southwestern Arizona. Bob was in his early stage of living off the grid. We've kept in touch. We sort of like exchange notes on the country, let's say. Because you're going granular in America. You go down the back roads. You're not a highway guy.
I hate highways. I hate the freeway. I stay off the freeway unless I absolutely have to use it.
So the point of this video is to get into that really interesting component of America where when you go granular, all of these different worlds open up. More so than most countries I've been to.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, every state has a different legal history and a different social history, even though people think it's all one country, especially the West. Each state had its own legal framework when it became a territory. Yes, according to, you know, the rules of how you admit states to the Union, but most of these states just came about. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is really cool. Sort of the tourist center, I would say, or the part that's done really well, Apache. Done in, what is that, a Spanish style? Sort of a Pueblo style?
Pueblo, hacienda, Spanish.
Mexican. And you can see the money in this town. Just look at these roundabouts, Bob. The art there.
We've spent a lot of money on the art.
And this place brings in, I was reading last night, roughly 3 million tourists a year.
Really?
From around the world. A lot of people come for spirituality, wellness, see a lot of this going on.
The Center for the New Age, it's right here.
You have UFO tours. You got a lot of this, a lot of hiking. These trails go back forever. If I'm to guess, I think these are probably 3 million, something like that.
A bargain. A bargain at any price.
You got a lot of new construction happening. And with those views, tough to beat. I mean, from all the country you've seen, one of the most beautiful places, right?
Sedona? Absolutely. So, you know, there's different resources and people have different ways of breaking free. If you're happy in your corporate life, good for you. If you have a job that calls on your passion, good for you. But for many people in the corporate world, it seems to be hollow. To me, travel and having the tool to travel in, which is Unit 11.
That's the name of this rig.
This rig is called Unit 11.
You love this, Bob, don't you?
Well, it works. I mean, I use all that stuff. You left flood, the rear flood, all that stuff.
How about siren horn?
That's why we don't use it too much.
So did you basically regress back to 16, Bob?
I am 12 to 15 years old. And there's drawbacks to this life, but, you know, on balance, when you hit the highs, they are so high. When you have an experience like this,
right,
it's amazing. And that makes it all worth it. And I don't even know what day it is. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to go tomorrow. It's a pretty majestic way to travel.
Yeah, it is cool. It's so smooth too. Like these seats just bounce.
Yeah, we have air ride.
So this is all called Verde Valley. And we're like, what, 15 minutes from Sedona. That's it.
Amazing. Completely different world. Now we're moving into the mining area.
So we're about to cross an invisible line, Bob.
Basically, yes, we are going to cross an invisible line from the Red Rocks into the mining history of Arizona.
And you know what's great about this part of the state is there's just so much land. All this is state or federal land, I think. So there's just a massive buffer zone between the towns. Like Sedona, to here, there is no development.
Arizona should be seen as much as possible the way it was. Can you imagine coming out here in the 1920s? None of this was here. The roads were dirt. You'd be driving a Model T or a 12-cylinder Buick.
No air conditioning in the summer.
We don't have air conditioning either.
Oh, that's true. We got heat.
This is the summer simulator.
You got to have windows open because the heat is always on, correct?
I can't get the heat off. It's a Minnesota truck. June and you're using the heat, you know? I can't figure out how to get the heat off. I'm going to have to work on that.
You have a lot of respect for this vehicle.
Yeah, that's a great RV. That's got an 8.3 in it. That's got the same engine I have, probably. That is, or a Cat. It's a Bluebird bus that was turned into an RV. It's called a Wanderlust or Wanderer or something like that.
Pretty cool. Look at that. Old 50s gas station.
Wow, that's cool.
Now it's a restaurant. And we're not stopping here, Bob, but this is Cottonwood. Your classic Western town, right?
Classic. historic Clarkdale. Here we are.
And it was total company town.
Yeah, a company town.
William Clark, I believe, is the man's
That's
name.
the guy. That's the guy.
It was basically a smelter town. I just think like all the iron ore was coming down here from the mountain.
Well, then also mining services. So they served the mine from down here, and also obviously commercial services of other types, banks. You know, Jerome was the mining center.
Look at this, beautiful architecture.
Wow.
Copper Museum.
And that's the old high school.
So Bob, when you pull in a town like this, you need to take up, what, 3 spaces?
Yeah, I never parallel park. You don't even think about that.
The state of Arizona is a long life in a little bit. That's it. So total company town. Company owned all the real estate, the school, the hospitals.
So if you worked for the mine, then what? They just assign you a house, or did you pay rent? Or you?
I know in a lot of places in the country you're paid in scrip, which is company currency.
Okay, yeah.
That worked in the company town, but nowhere else.
Okay.
So get paid from the mine, you're like, I need to get out of here.
You can't.
Your money's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, my family's from a mining town
this
in
is
Ohio,
cool.
and there were pitched gun battles between the Union and the mining interests.
This is great though. You can see the bones are here. Had its moment in the past, obviously. Looks like some comeback happening. So the founder, Clark, was a politician. Clark County, where Las Vegas is, named after him.
Oh, really?
Same Clark. Look at this. Got
Well-
the block glass up here.
The mining started in Arizona in probably the late 1870s, maybe a little sooner, and kind of peaked in the 1920s, 30s.
What's up? Oh, thank you. Guys, what's going on here?
This is the owner. You can talk to him.
You're the owner? Can I show what's going on?
Just build a bar.
Building a bar. Nice. Oh my God.
Gorgeous.
What's your name?
I'm Steve.
Steve.
Yeah,
Peter.
Peter. Nice
Yeah.
to meet you, man. It's the old newsstand. It used to be a bar.
You're from Clarkdale?
Yeah, born and raised.
Okay, tell us about it. Probably went slamming down when the mine went down. Now it's
Yep.
coming back.
Yep, now it's come back. The cement plant came into town.
Cement plant.
Yeah, big wine country, Sedona Humps.
Wine country.
Yeah, Maynard, the guy from Tool, he opened his winery and kind of opened the floodgates.
He lives up in Jerome, right?
Yeah. We put a rooftop bar on.
Oh, let's check it out.
Is this original, this stuff? Or did you put this
No,
in?
we put that all in. We gutted it down.
Beautiful.
One of the oldest liquor licenses in Arizona. So
When are you opening?
a month or two, a couple months.
What kind of food you gonna have?
Flatbread salad sandwiches.
Well, that sounds good.
This is the top. Okay, there's the cement factory you're
Yeah,
talking
there's
about.
cement plant. Yep.
So some people work there.
Yep, and there's Sedona. Red
Up
Rock
on those
there.
rocks.
Yep.
Look at these pods.
Down there, down from the
This is
bathrooms.
so cool.
This is where you meet the love of your life, right?
There's a fire pit right there. We're putting in.
We met at the old newsstand.
And then this is
Look at this.
the bar you serve yourselves.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. Almost there.
So all the buildings, we just got into town. We're gonna walk through them, but all done in a cool old school style there.
Yeah, 1914 is when this was built.
Okay, so the main drag here, that's vacant, right?
Yep.
This was vacant.
Yep. They're redoing the gas station to it's the kayak company.
A what?
Old 50s gas station.
It's the kayak company bought it. They do kayak tours of the river.
Beautiful.
And then they're going to do like a food court and looks like it's going to be awesome. So,
That's gonna be nice.
yeah.
Are you fired up on all this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be like Friday night in Jerome.
Right?
So Jerome, we're going to Jerome next,
Yeah.
but totally different vibe than here, right?
Oh, yeah. It's small ghost town, kind of hippie vibe. Really cool. Parking's awful.
Oh, that's no problem for what we're driving.
Yeah, we're driving an old fire engine, so we're not gonna be parking in Jerome.
Right?
Take care, you guys. Awesome work.
You too, brother.
You did an awesome job in there.
We're just painting, man.
You guys live in town?
Yeah, Conwood.
Conwood, all right.
I'll watch your videos with my girlfriend. We watched the one with the most remote tribe.
You got a res right up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yavapai, Apache.
Yeah.
We're gonna go there.
You gonna go right now?
Yeah, in a little bit.
Nice. Nice seeing you, brother.
See you guys. Some more things banging in here. Isn't it great seeing that in these towns? There's a revival happening, an old theater here. Check this out with the
Well, small towns
office.
are going to come back because they're better places to live. Plain and simple. If you want to get
theater in
away from
there.
the grind, this is the place to be.
right, but what are
Obviously, you have to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Look at that 50s gas station coming back. brewery in town. But you gotta love it. Even back in the day, the company vision, right? Make it nice enough where people wanna stay. That's my guess. Because they didn't seem to cut too many corners here, right? Big park in the middle, bungalow architecture here, craftsmen, the little craftsmen's. Tudor revival. Architects planned and designed Clarkdale as a model town in phases of construction that allowed architectural styles to evolve. Back in the day, you could have 4 kids in there easily.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5.
And today, how much do you figure that is? $400,000?
I checked Zillow, it's around that.
And they're gorgeous. I mean, obviously,
this one's done really well.
The idea was to plan the community, and copper is incredibly lucrative, especially in those days.
And now too.
If you were a miner, this is probably a pretty good life, except you're probably being paid in script.
Except the work.
Well, and
Tough work.
you have to do the mining work. But people in those eras were not adverse to hard work because there wasn't any other kind of work.
Exactly.
I mean, you could work in an office at somewhere, but I mean, you're born at the turn of the century. What would you know how to do? You'd know how to ride a horse, you'd know how to hunt, you'd know how to work on the farm. So you could adapt farm workers and other workers like that for mining very easily. And a lot of them were probably immigrants. You know, up in the UP, they came from Cornwall or whatever it was called, Cornish.
Finland.
In Finland, in northern Minnesota, they came from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, a lot of
they,
Italians.
They call them the bohunks up there. Italians, Hungarians, Czechs. And then in the Ohio River Valley and in West Virginia, they came from Wales. And my people are all from Wales. They came to this country to mine down in central Ohio.
This is so cool, huh? Just these little details.
Well, this is beautiful right here. I wonder what this was. I guess it was some kind of a train station.
So this is a former company town, but in Arizona, there are 2 that are still operating. Baghdad, Arizona, Morenci, Arizona. Everyone in those towns works for the company. Company owns the real estate.
What does the company
Freeport McMoran, copper.
Oh, well, God knows we need copper.
We do. If you like electricity.
If you like electricity, you're gonna need copper.
Men's lounge. So back in the day, we have the ladies' lounge over there. They just created a lot of social things here, I bet. You get people in the community, you get them wanting to be here.
Well, I'm sure
Is that what that is?
I'm sure if, oh, sorry.
No longer just a men's lounge.
Apparently they're doing
letting
some serious
females in.
stuff in there.
Excuse me. Do you know the story behind the men's lounge, females lounge? Can we walk in that building over there?
Yeah. The men would go off and have their pool time, you know, pool tables, billiards.
Okay.
And the ladies would come in here and have tea time, cooking, and it's the ladies' lounge.
Vice Mayor?
Oh my God.
Great. Okay, we found the right person. Oh, wow. Look at this. Are you doing stuff in here?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, our local high school has their senior prom in here every year. We just approved
cool.
that on the council agenda.
This guy.
Here's Johnny.
Do you need me to kick him out? No. Okay, we're good. Nice performance, Bob.
Thank you.
Are you getting many young people here, or is this more of a retiree place?
No, this is a great town to raise families.
You want families?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's a lot of generational growth here.
A lot of town pride here, Debbie?
Absolutely, a lot of town pride. It's a small town, but we're mighty. We have a lot of events. We just opened a new park down the hill that's state of the art.
Oh, look at this.
Oh my God.
This is fantastic. Wow. So what's funding this town right now? Tax revenue, or you got something else coming in?
Tax revenue, actually more than our general fund in grant money that has come in, both federal, state.
They just want to hold on to this history here, make sure this place thrives because it's unique.
Right.
Is that what it is?
Well,
Because you're not going to get this in Sedona.
no.
This
Sedona-
old world feeling.
No, no. This here and Jerome, Cottonwood, all are very historic to the area.
Should we hit the road, Bob?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Here we are, Yavapai Apache tribe. Welcome, you are entering the Yavapai Apache Nation. You have voluntarily submitted yourself to the laws and jurisdiction of the Yavapai Apache Nation. So we're in a different jurisdiction right now, just like that. Pass a border, and we're in.
They got gates too. They can close the
They
gate.
can gate it off.
Drugs are not welcome, by the way.
Local police can't come in here. I don't know how it works here, but a lot of times it's just sheriffs.
They have to be accompanied by.
And they have their own police here.
Yeah.
Tribal police. So here we go, guys. This is what it looks like. And so in Verde Valley, there are 5 reservations, very small, and they have a casino. One of them has a casino.
So the Yavapai and Apache are 2 different tribes. They're together here on the reservation, but historically they were 2 different tribes. You're like, what is that? What is that?
So in Verde Valley here, there are roughly 2,200 natives, and on this res, around 200. And nobody's out and about. I'd love to talk to someone. There's some boarded up homes.
Well, these were probably built by the United States government.
Right, so they left when? What was it, 1870?
Yeah. And then
Out of Clarkdale?
They came back. I don't remember what year they came
They
back.
came back before 1912, I believe.
I mean, they didn't leave. They were escorted out.
They were escorted to San Carlos.
Yeah.
That reservation, a couple hundred miles from here. I think that's about it, Bob. I think there's just a few suburban streets.
Again, juxtapositioning.
So there you go, guys. You want to put a label on Arizona, good luck. You want to put a label on a small part of Arizona, right? Sedona and here, 2 different worlds. Here we got a Uva smoke shop, drive-through, and then we're back. I think we're back in Clarkdale. So that's crazy. We just popped in, we popped out, Bob, 2 seconds.
A different country, sovereign nation.
And then you can see new track homes right outside of it.
Yeah, those are $400,000 homes, easy.
Probably. All right, so Jerome, next stop.
All right, and now the drama begins. You're gonna hear this truck now because we're gonna start going up and down these hills. It's a lot easier going up than it is coming down. It's gonna be hairy.
So Bob, what do you love about being on the road all the time?
I love just driving. I love to drive through areas and see areas. And this year, I'm spending more time in individual areas. Well, I was a month in Death Valley, almost a month at Oregon Pipe, 15 days in Boulder Oaks. I've been in Joshua Tree and Coachella for a month. And it's great because you really get to know the area. You can sort of get an idea of what the area is actually like.
How do you feel about your fellow Americans?
It's still a great country. If you want to work hard, and it gets harder every year, but if you want to work hard, it's a great country for people that want to work. And I've met some people that recently who really work hard, and they're happy. Having lots and lots of money and making it and being a billionaire, I mean, it must be great, but I meet a lot of people who don't have much that seem happy. That doesn't mean that there isn't hardship and that there aren't people having problems. But the story that we're being told of people on social media is not real.
Yeah, I agree.
The real world is people are pretty great. I'm just so tired of the negativity, my brother.
Yeah, I feel
social media about how people supposedly are.
Well, you know, because you're on social media, that's the business model that works really well.
I think my experience has been that people are pretty great, regardless of where you meet them. That's why I like spending more time in these individual places.
She's built right into the mountain here. Got the big J above. Up on the hillside there, the biggest building, I believe was an infirmary. I think so. Now it's a hotel. Yeah, we can stop by. It's haunted, so I've heard.
I'm sure it is.
It's gonna get narrow, Bob.
Watch that wall. That's just got to keep me away from that wall.
You got room, you got room.
But you get to listen to the truck. That's the good news.
You like that sound, Bob?
Love it.
Just a lot of torque, huh?
A lot of torque. I could take all those spaces. I'll never turn around. I have to back out, which is, there's a multiple choice question on the CDL test. When backing up, and there's 3 different options for what you're supposed to do, you know, have a person behind you, get out and look. And the last option is don't back up. That is the right answer to the question. Don't back up, unless you absolutely have to. You gotta really watch me on the right, because this is gonna be tough.
Yeah. Okay, you're good so far.
Okay, thank you. I mean, these trucks are big.
A lot of tourists here today.
Once the wickedest town in the West.
$1 billion copper camp. Mines closed 1953. 15,000 residents at its peak. You can see all the former tailings and evidence of what went on here back in the day. Look at this massive slag pile.
I'm gonna park here. We'll let this thing cool down for a little while.
Look at all this machinery. This is sort of your fun park, isn't it, Bob? Something like this?
Well, I take a lot of pictures of old beat up vehicles and stuff, and it's amazing to see what they did this work with.
Right.
This was the top technology. And I don't know if you ever watched Jay Leno, but you know, he has an old Duesenberg, and he talks about people think these old cars are rickety and stuff. But in most of the old cars, especially the 20s and 30s, the technology worked. It would have represented the apex of what we were capable of in those days. So it's fun to see the relics because, like, look at that bus.
Yeah, and the design was better back then.
Some of the relics are just beautiful. Look at that thing. That's an old Rambler. There's an old fire truck, if you're looking for one.
That's before you, Bob. Look at this setup.
Look, there's my RV.
Look at with windows, paned windows, shingles. Look at that place. Let's get up there. Hello. How is it in there? Did you go?
Shop's so much fun. Golly, I had a blast in there.
Oh, cool.
Enjoy if you go.
Yeah, thank you. You like that one, Bob?
I love that. We're gonna have some drama when we go over the mountain.
How you doing, ma'am?
Good, how are you? Started this place.
Your mom and dad?
Terry and Don Robertson.
Okay, so they were here in the heyday?
He came in 80.
Oh,
He was
okay.
an Iowa farm boy, and they both actually met. Don's actually my stepdad.
Is that him right there?
That is him. All the pictures you'll see, he brought his old sawmill. It's a 1914 gas Whitty engine that runs his sawmill up
Okay.
there. So he was out there running it all the time. There's a lot of stuff
So this
out
place
there.
is legendary a little bit.
Pretty much. Gearheads come from all over the world, and they would just talk to him all the time.
They love the classic stuff out
They
there.
just love the classic stuff. He has
Okay.
over 100 antique trucks and motorcycles and
Oh, yeah, I
cars
can
out
see
there.
outside there.
Yeah, the trucks are great.
So you're tied into this place.
I am. I own it now.
Right on.
We love the lifestyle. We love living on the mountain.
What's the lifestyle?
You get to close the gate at night. Nobody gets to tell you. The government doesn't have to tell you what to do. And the country lifestyle. You know what I mean? Not a lot of
Yeah.
regulations, not HMO.
No Karens.
No Karens, and we can do what we want to do with Karens. But
You regulate Karens up
not
here?
not in a bad way.
Okay. You let them another place.
Right. We live on the side of a mountain. It's up and down. My house is way on top up there, but
Up here.
we love the lifestyle.
That's cool.
All of our 5 grandchildren are homeschooled, but all of them have trades. All of them already know what to do. My 14-year-old already runs a excavator up and down the mountains and stuff, you know. So
14?
Yeah, he's 14.
All homeschooled.
All homeschooled.
They're all staying around
And
the
that
area.
way they all know how to do something. So it's
Which
pretty
is
cool.
useful now.
Exactly.
That's where the
They have
jobs
skills. Right. Because we have no more skills.
are. Yeah.
Everybody knows how to press a button in Google, and then they
Do
know.
what I'm doing.
And then they know.
And then they know everything.
And then you try to hire them. I don't want to go
Is
there.
that
If
fun?
you're filming
Oh, no,
me,
that's
I don't
fine.
want to tell you how that is.
They have to be taught some skills.
It's true. We're just old school. I'm coming from a really small town. I mean, actually, I was from Louisiana. I was kind of raised in the bayous, and I never.
No way.
Yeah. When you come from Louisiana to somewhere like Arizona, then you find out how Arizona is so diversified. Every 100 miles, there's something.
No, we've been talking about that all
It's
day.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But you got to find it out, because if you land in Phoenix, you're like, what the hell does people do here?
Well, that's a good question.
You know, and well, they stay inside. That's what they do.
No, so we're making a video on that topic today.
Uh-huh.
We're just going granular in this part of Arizona, and every town is totally different.
Right.
It's old school Americana up here.
It is, and that's what you try to preserve. And that was what my stepdad was all about, Don. He just loved the United States, and he loved what it was about. He loved the freedom he had. And he loved the industrial part of it, and showing how it evolved and stuff.
Yeah.
You're still getting that up here.
Oh yeah, people come all over there, they just love it. You know, Elon is here with an electric car, but we have a 1902 electric Studebaker. So
Yeah,
it
they
wasn't
used to
a-
be.
It wasn't a bright
yeah, we had
idea.
electric cars 100 years ago.
Yes.
Can we go see that car?
It wasn't the first idea. Yeah, you pay your admission and
You're not getting in there for free.
This is your granddad.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to your mom.
Now yours are my mom.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the electric one right
Yeah, so this is a 1902 electric car. It was called a Studebaker Roundabout. If you were a gentleman in the day mobbing one of these, you would have been heavily sought after with the ladies. It had no combustion, so they weren't annoyed from all the engine noise. You know, it wasn't all racket. You could take a nice quiet ride and talk to your woman.
And didn't have to worry about the horses.
Didn't have to worry about the horses and the smell and the flies. And the only problem is it didn't go very far without having to be recharged again. So combustion.
Well, that turned into a plus when you were talking about the date.
Yeah.
There you go, Bob.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
So
Bob.
yeah, this collapses down.
What about the battery setup?
So it's all under here in this
So that
compartment.
battery technology was there back then.
Yeah, 48 volts. It would have looked like right here.
Okay.
Yep. So now we modernized it, put 48 volt system in it, but it still works. It's got the original Westinghouse electric motor.
Why
on
didn't
it.
they go? Why was there such a gap between electric cars then and now? I mean, electric cars have really big
combustion just dominated. You could see like, they have problems with the freezing weather and them catching on fire and trying to find a plug-in station somewhere. When you go to take it to a mechanic, everything is high voltage underneath that hood, so it's extremely dangerous. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think there's just so many discrepancies where it's like modern combustion has come so far and hasn't stopped. But yeah, so this is Don's 28 Studebaker race car. He actually raced this. He took the straight 8 out of a school bus, Studebaker school bus, and put it in here. And this thing still works. We took this out for the 4th of July parade, and I was driving with my daughter on the back, so it was pretty cool.
So your granddad was a wild man.
Yeah, he was a little bit of a wild man. This is the original structure that was here, that 2-story house, when this was a mining camp.
How did he get this place?
He came up on his own intuition and said, I need a place with 4 seasons of weather and mining history, because he was just a mining guru, man. He loved collecting old parts. So you're not going to be able to probably fathom this, but nothing was here. This is 1914 sawmill. Don brought his sweet little baby up here. So it's a 1914 Whitty. It's 30 horsepower. Back in the day when this was a little town, that was a minor league baseball field down there.
Minor league baseball field right there.
Yep.
So your granddad brought all of this up here.
All of this stuff up here that you see, yeah.
So what was his economic engine? How did he get
So he was a mechanical engineer and mechanical operator and like heavy equipment operator, truck driver, all into one package for the union. It's funny because we're from the same union. I was a crane operator out of there.
Okay.
But so he took all of his time that he had been working with them, and on the side he had been collecting and collecting and collecting. Wanted to get away from the man, working for the man. Finally got to a point where he thought he could reveal enough stuff to make this place cool and then charge a little $2 fee. And he hustled wood on the side. So the reason why that sawmill is so significant is because he would hustle his wood on the side because he was trying to generate people, no internet.
She said it ran every day.
It used to run every single day.
Because where else are you going to get wood milled?
Yeah, and then so see, look at this is their house up here.
That's your mom's house, way up there?
House, yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, we did all the,
Way up there.
Yeah,
Look
way
at
up
that.
there. So we used that 1914 mill, dude, to cut a lot of the lumber for that house. Yeah,
That is sweet.
it turned out slick. I mean, look at their view, man.
So she's looking all the way out
looking
to
at
Sedona.
man. Yeah.
So your mom was talking about her grandkids moving machinery around at 14.
Yeah, my son.
Like know how to do everything.
Yeah. They're all homeschooled. They're all hands-on, practical application.
10 years ago, that would have been looked at as the bad play, and now it's like everyone's like, yeah. Those are the jobs.
Those are the jobs that you want to do. I mean, everybody's trying to see in the contrast of you go to college, get in debt, and then they're like, well, why is Joe Smith working his trade for 4 or 5 years and pulling in 150K debt-free?
So because your grandfather took that super risky, adventurous step in life, you're living this life, your kids are living this really rogue, hands-on life.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is cool, man. I mean, we've tried the public school system, and I'm not knocking every public school out there. I mean, there's good educational places, but you have control of how you're teaching your kids. And, you know, there's a stigma that it's like they're not social, they're lacking, and it's really untrue. I mean, they're heavily integrated with FFA, their church group, they do co-ops. I mean, most of these guys on the other side of the mountain, home cooking, baked goods, jujitsu, weightlifting, some form of martial arts, just cool stuff. But this 2-story building was the original house that was used by the miners in the late 1800s. This is the only original structure that was on the property. This
Cool.
and the shafts that they went down. 1907 to 1959, a lady named Petra actually lived in this house by herself. She lived to be 105 years old. So her last 3 years, she moved to Prescott, ended up passing over there. But yeah, you can imagine she's going out to get all her own wood because there's no electricity. So she's trying to heat her house, make her food, all by herself. I mean, you talk 105.
That's why.
That's why.
What's your take on this part of Arizona?
I love the wild, wild west, man. I mean,
It still feels that way, huh?
yeah, this time period right here is pure debauchery. Las Vegas without any law enforcement, you know. Jerome was deemed the wickedest town in the West
It was Las Vegas without law.
without law, you know. I mean,
So
you had
just
prostitution,
brothels,
that whole strip that you guys came through in Jerome is all red light district. So the women weren't allowed to mine, so they had to come up with their own form of currency. So they opened brothels. And it was just the whole wild west of it. Then you had people from Spain coming, people from China coming. So China brought the opium dens. Then you had prohibition with the alcohol. So that was a high commodity with drinking. So you got opium and alcohol mixed in with prostitution. Now you got mining. I mean, it's just madness.
Ton of money coming through here.
Ton of money coming through here.
And not people you can push around either.
No, and that's the thing. And the women were headstrong, man. I mean, the guys started getting out of place. They'd just shoot them, throw them down the shaft. I mean, it was like, that's just the way it was. But
When did that stop? Like, when was the last year of that?
they started civilizing more into the early 20s. And then through the 20s to the 50s, you know, they had a fire department, they had sheriffs.
So early
And it's-
20s, so we're talking basically 100 years ago,
Yes.
where it was just wild.
Yep. And then just be careful in here. This is a little sketch, but
There we go. This was the mannequin from one of the brothels.
yeah. Some of the beds.
And you guys haven't done anything here, right? You just
No,
put it in.
we
And
just kind of left it.
these wood, it's just, if someone weighs a lot, they're going through this floor, huh?
Yeah, I just had a crew through here yesterday, so we're,
Oh, look at the old wooden stove.
yeah, her old wooden stove,
Oh, that is cool.
old chimney.
Are you glad you're in 2026, or do you wish you were growing up back then?
I'd have to say probably back then. It's kind of the same old demons, but just modernized technology. Phones
That's a good way of saying it.
Phones are a great thing to have, but they're also, they can be very dangerous. Some of the things that we're exposed to so rapidly in today's society, it's pretty dangerous. You know, picking up the phone and making a phone call to see how someone's doing is a lost art in a lot of ways.
That's true.
Just simple things where you went to the store and your hardwood guy and your dentist was probably someone you knew well, and their kids and their reputation and their character. Now it's just who's the best, can fix me quick.
Google reviews.
You know, can I just get in and out?
Bob and I were talking about this on the way up to Jerome in Unit 11, which you can see out there. That's his rig, if you can look out this window.
Oh, cool, man.
We were talking about on the way up, the internet is creating a false story about the country. Because when you get out in the country, like Bob does, like I do, the vast majority of people are cool and open.
Yeah.
Like today, we've just run into people that want to talk to us.
And great stories.
Great stories. You're a great story.
Yeah.
And then you get online and it just looks like division and
sure.
chaos and pure dopamine.
I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, I visited my sister in Baytown, Texas. It's exactly what you're saying. I was up in Sydney, Montana. I mean, the little cafe had the locals' coffee mugs with their names on up on the shelf. And it was like, this is cool. This is down home. You know that, like, if something happens in the street and someone gets hurt, that whole restaurant's probably going to empty out and be like, what's going on? How can I help? How can I be of service?
Yep.
You know, that's a lost thing. But no, I agree with you. There's a thing that's portrayed, and it's sad to see because we feed off of it.
And if young people say don't have time on the road traveling and they're just in front of the screens, then they believe that might be the reality. A lot of
right.
people. That's
You're
the
right.
problem.
Yeah.
You're interacting with people all day here. People are pumped to be here. They're happy.
And typically I try to keep it that way. This is a very family friendly place. I try to entertain the people in the sense of, I don't want to be daunting and, you know, how you guys doing and wherever you're from.
Sure.
If it comes out and they want to talk about it, then I'll let them.
Yeah, I brought all this stuff up, so thank you. No, this is how we learn. This is what I do.
Yeah.
You saw my videos. It's like we went into a portal in here.
Yeah. They hit over 2 billion in copper in that time.
Right.
Yeah, and they were using a lot of it for the war. Yeah, so for World War I, they were building artillery. with copper.
What's the story with this? This was for the house?
Yeah, outhouse.
But why way up here?
Well, because, so see all these rocks? These were all stacked by hand. These were all old foundations. The housing was up here. All the production for the mining would have been down here on this flat ground. So there was up to 300 people living up here at once. That's called the Haines Shaft. So this was a suburb of Arizona called Haines, Arizona. It had its own little post office. Different prospector with money investing in his own copper.
Bob and I are just blazing through today, but any one of these towns we could spend a full day in easily.
Yeah, it's kind of a little hidden gem up here.
This is what it's like hiking in Arizona.
That's right.
This is one of your kids?
Yeah, this is Caden. It's my 14-year-old.
Caden, nice. Eye contact, firm shake.
Yeah.
Nice, Caden. You taught him well.
Yeah, his is his dog, Remy.
Caden, what are you working on right now?
I was trying to get the 1943 KB International.
Just get it running?
Yeah.
You know how to fix those things?
Yeah.
What's the belt here? What's going on there?
This is a buckle I got made in New Mexico. Just like, it's the Gold King mine, and then I got my initials, and then Romans 828.
This is his own branding that he's trying to come out with.
The KL?
Yeah, the KL for
that's cool.
Caden LeFew.
Nice.
Yeah.
You love it up here?
Oh, yeah.
You keeping busy? Mm-hmm. Never bored?
Never.
Yeah, he's either doing carpentry, running an excavator, backhoe, shooting squirrels.
Excavator?
I mean, it's just kind of endless.
Where's the truck?
Riding motocross.
Can we check it?
Oh, you want to see the truck?
Yeah.
Man, the truck's pretty rad.
The battery's dead, it needs a new fuel filter. We've been trying to find the keys for it. The electrical's a little chewed up, but it's almost done. I want to drive it in the parade, 4th of July.
That's an old army truck, or is this the old one?
It got painted, but yeah, it was a
Yeah, it was an old military truck.
U.S.
Yeah.
Navy.
The front axle, that's definitely a military axle with the ball peen front
Caden,
joints.
you got many buddies up here doing the same thing? No?
No.
Brothers?
Yeah, I got 5 siblings.
Oh, there you go. That's all you need.
This thing is solid.
Yeah, and this thing wild. This thing runs. You want to hear that thing fired up?
Let's do it.
Fire this one up. Absolutely.
Oh.
You have a blacksmith working here?
Yeah, we have a blacksmith working here. This is Mr. William. He blacksmiths and he does woodwork.
Oh, that's cool.
He makes these handmade peppercorn grinders and yeah. So he's got his coal forge back there and he pretty much uses this propane guy so he can adjust his heat whenever he wants and it's not so temperamental.
And we've got a fire ban going, so he can't run the coal forge very well.
Is there many people doing your craft anymore or not really?
There has been a big resurgence since those shows like Forged in Fire
Okay.
have come out. You get a lot of people that want to try it again and make knives and make it. Everybody wants to be a knife maker.
Damascus steel.
Yeah.
That's a buzzword, Bob,
Is it?
in the knife industry.
I'm not a knife.
Me neither.
Not a knife man.
I made that back in the 90s. 95, I think it was. My uncle used to hate going into restaurants and getting those steak knives that are like,
Don't cut anything.
right. So he always carried his own. So I made this for him. And you can see the different layers and everything. But yeah, I made that for him. He carried it until he passed away. And then I got it back. So I keep that up here just to show people I do.
So he'd go into the restaurant with his own steak knife.
He would bring
That
his
sounds
own
like a
steak
man.
knife.
I
You're a
like-
man.
I like
I'm not
it.
using your cheap little steak knife.
Take care.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, William.
You know, Henry Ford hated the Godfathers.
Exactly, that's right.
I'll owe you money. I don't expect freebies.
Hey, do you guys want, can we get a picture real quick with him?
How much do I? You sure?
Yeah, we're good.
It's actually video right now.
I'll tell you
Who are
guys.
you? Who
I'll
are
tell
you?
you guys when he leaves.
There you go.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank
Really
you.
fun time.
Love what you got here. I want to tell people to come out here. What's your place called?
Gold King Mine.
Gold King Mine. So if they're coming up to Jerome, drive from the fire station.
1 mile past the fire station, the Gold King Mine ghost town.
We almost missed out on it.
I know, man.
Yeah, we almost turned around. That would have sucked. So thank you. There it is, guys. You come up this road here.
It's all self-guided.
Self-guided, okay.
I'm gonna fire it up.
Bob wants to fire it up for you guys. He wants to impress you.
It almost sounds like a Prius that's angry.
See you guys.
Look at that.
Oh, that is beautiful. I was just thinking going into Jerome. Now let's check it out. I know a cool place. I've been here before.
Didn't he say this part right here is the red light district?
It's
Right.
up here. I think it's up here. Let's check it out. But it's got a cool feel to it.
I think it's a cool place.
I love these old post offices, Bob. You ever go into these?
I love the way they smell.
Yeah, right? With the old metal boxes. Small town like this, they're open for a couple hours a day. Look at these old boxes, all the old detail.
Wow,
So cool.
look at that.
I know you're more interested in prostitutes, Bob.
From the
I think it's up here.
50s.
Okay, here it is, I think. This building was originally a brothel known as Jenny's Place. It was built in 1898 from Belgium, but the Euros that came here back in the day, they had no idea what they were getting into.
No.
They didn't speak English in the beginning.
She's a long, cool woman in a black dress.
Murdered in 1905, was reputed to be the wealthiest woman in the Arizona Territory.
I believe it.
Let's check this out, the Haunted Liberty Theater. Little movie day, Bob. Look at this, isn't it cool?
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's gonna show up with the camera. Very steep. Bob, you all right?
I'm fine. Look at these chairs. This is deluxe, man. I think Black Betty over at the Bordello is probably an investor in this place.
What a trippy place.
Oh, this is why they call it the Haunted Movie Theater.
Creepy Zone / museum. Jerome.
Crazy. Would never have known this was here. Oh, that smells good.
Little bar in here. Old school bar next to new gift shop. Look at this. Bartlett Hotel.
It must have burned.
First two-story building in Jerome, had rooms for dances, dining, and sleeping. 1898, the structure was destroyed by a fire. I mean, isn't that the Arizona story? Destroyed by a fire.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard that?
Oh, it happens all the time. Whole towns.
The mining company sold portions of it for salvage in the 1950s, removing the entire top floor.
Just imagine you came to this town on business in 1925, 1926.
Oh, here you go, Bob. Here's a fire truck.
Oh, that's a Dodge. Dodge Brothers. That's a little fire truck. That's nice, man.
Maybe the smallest police station. Have you seen one this small before?
No, I have not.
And I have been here before. This restaurant is awesome. Great food.
The clink scale?
The clink scale. Let's show a little view of it. Town's a bit all over the place, huh?
So this town was dead, and the artists brought it back.
The artist brought it back.
Pretty cool.
60s, I think there were like 50 people living up here.
Wow, that must be great.
And
That must have
then
been
it's
great.
just built momentum. And now you have a tourist place, mostly.
It's just fascinating to me. How do you bring a Quincy, Illinois back? How do you bring a Gloucester, Ohio back? Does it have to die completely for the artists to get in and
That's how
start
it
to
works,
try to
right?
do something?
The artists come in when it's cheap. And they can create their art, and it's inspirational. Like, this is inspirational for art.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't mind living here. If you come here in 1960s.
A lot of confession happened here.
But were they contrite? Here, read this.
What's a spirit box, Bob?
Oh, listen to this. Often handheld radio scanning device used by paranormal investigators to communicate with spirits, typically via electronic voice phenomenon, EVP. It sweeps all through the AM/FM frequencies, creating white noise that believers think entities manipulate to form audible words or phrases, often in real time. So the idea is that there's a lot of spirits here, and so apparently these guys come in here and try to get some spirits to talk.
This looks like a hotel, huh?
It does. These are really high-end places, too.
The gateway to nowhere. But this time of day, right around now, that sun starts going down a little bit, little breeze, cools off in the
Yeah,
shade.
it feels good.
The Asylum restaurant, Bob. Look at this, Jerome
So
Grand
this was
Hotel.
an asylum. This was for crazy miners.
We got to get the history on this place.
Or it was, you said it was a hospital, infirmary.
I thought it was.
Well, there were probably a ton of injuries.
We're gonna find out. Oh, that's beautiful. So you have these tables, the windows open here, and just right out to that view. You know what this feels like a little bit, Bob? That hotel in The Shining, right?
The Overlook.
The Overlook, there you go. Lobby, you wanna check the lobby out?
All work and all play, and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
It's got Shining vibes.
That's probably why they say it's haunted. Why, thank you. Hi there.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Doing great.
What's the story on this place?
Asylum?
No. The Asylum is the restaurant, and that's just the name that they go by, and they rent it from us, so we're not going to ask them to change their name.
Okay.
However, this was a hospital. It was built in 1926. And it took them about 9 months to have it all built. And by, 1927, it was up and open.
Yep.
And it's built on bedrock, and it's cement on top because the rest of Jerome moves about a ½ inch, and they didn't want this one to go anywhere.
The staircases coming up here in town were slanted.
Oh,
Yes.
Well, yes.
There were landslides in 1940.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Jerome jail slid down the hill.
They say it's haunted, right? Is that the story?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an old hospital built in 1926. Of course it's haunted. We have, Claude was found at the bottom of the elevator, I believe. He was found with his palms facing up, which is what's weird, but he was laying down in his back, and then one of the nurses happened to call down the elevator, and it unfortunately took off his head, but they did figure out that the elevator isn't the reason that killed him, but they never figured out more than that, so we do know that Otis isn't responsible.
Oh, the manufacturer Otis.
there had to be a lot of injuries in the mines.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I mean, they've had lit kerosene lamps on their faces going 1,000 feet in the ground.
Yeah.
my family's miners, so
Yeah.
I know.
They were getting that copper, you know.
Absolutely.
And then the main mine, the United Copper Verde Mining Company, they had a steam shovel explosion blow up their tunnel entrance, so they went to open pit mining at that point.
Oh, okay.
The
Gotcha.
other one, the Audrey head frame, that was owned by Phelps Dodge. That's the one over by the state park down there. You can kind of see the framework of it.
Okay.
That one was the one that stayed, that they still were tunneling. So there's like hundreds of miles of tunnels under this town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's Swiss cheese under here.
Just not under us, but yes,
Yeah.
under the town, yes.
If you go exploring up some of the mountains, you can find some of the
There's
old
some
mines.
entrances, but I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, I would
Most
not.
of the
We're good
most
on
of the
that.
tunnels are filled with water.
What you do is you take a rock and you
So
listen
you
to
might
it
drown.
fall
Don't
and
do
count
it.
the seconds, but don't.
I'm not doing it.
Don't go
Yeah,
in
don't
there.
don't try to spelunk
So
these
what's
lines. They're dangerous.
what's it like living up here? Is it
Oh, it's
cool?
awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
So people can stay here now. Rooms for rent.
50 cent.
Well, how much are they? Does it show in this brochure, Bob? There you go. 220, 250, 300, 385.
That's probably the car that the hotel sent out to pick up people at the train station. That's a Rolls-Royce limousine. Here's another one. This is a Pierce Arrow. Now this
You
is
know
a-
this.
This is a great vehicle. Now what I was saying earlier about Jay Leno, he was saying these old cars, he has a Pierce Arrow, and the only thing he had to do was change the battery because the old batteries were leaking. But they have truck frames. You know, they're really solid, you know, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that everyone thinks of this stuff as really old and rickety, but it was the apex of the technology of the age, and it worked. It all worked. So you had this age, this sort of flowering of the Industrial Revolution, the first part of the flowering of the revolution, the Industrial Revolution, cars, heat, mining, all these things happening. And to live in that time, it must have been incredible, because you would have thought, oh, well, this is great. You know, that Pierce Arrow, you wouldn't even know you're riding in a car in that thing.
You know, I think of tourists from around the world, say Asia or Europe. Yes, LA, New York, fantastic places, great to visit. But if they did this trip we've done today, Bob, just blow their minds, don't you think? Because it's nothing like this exists anywhere.
Well, it's a different world, and it's a world that people don't realize. There are places like this all over the place. Up in Montana, there's mining towns, there's all kinds of stuff. And
it's endless.
And if you are interested in history, this is how you learn history. You know, I learned because I would visit someplace and go, oh, that's how that worked.
What you do, the lifestyle you live, in this country you can constantly discover.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it, right? You can constantly explore and learn.
Well, that's what I decided last year. I do not want to sit in the desert with a bunch of people bitch moaning for the entire winter. I want to go to places and different places. And I need to obviously work on getting the funding to do that. But I want to stay traveling and going places and seeing things. I don't want to just sit someplace.
And for those that don't know, Bob has an awesome YouTube channel. Talks story, talks history in these beautiful places, shows the life of Unit 11, which we haven't shown much of today. Today's been more about the locations.
Today, Unit 11 is a supporting actor.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a character actor today.
Very important, though, for the story. And he has a podcast, so...
And you're going to see how important when we start going down this mountain. We're going to be going very slow because that truck is heavy enough that it will gain speed and it won't be good.
Getting over... I don't know if it's 7,000 feet, 8,000 feet.
Yeah, it's 7,000 feet.
7,000
up to Mingus
feet.
Mountain.
And then coming into a whole different valley, whole different reality.
Yes, whole different reality. Watch that wall. Don't let me get close to that wall.
Bob, do you ever feel like you overdid it with the size of this thing?
Well, I do now. No, I love this thing.
What's the gas mileage?
10 miles to the gallon. As my dad said, it'll pass anything but a good gas station. Oh my God, look at that. I can feel the breeze up here.
Yeah, it's so much cooler, huh?
Beautiful.
Feels great. We have these tall pines here. We're up at altitude, roughly 7,000 feet. Less temperature, more moisture in the winter and the summers.
Again, it's another one of those unique things about Arizona.
Bob, little update here on the descent. What do you think so far?
Well, so far so good.
You weren't that guy.
You left his bumper there.
Wasn't too bad, Bob.
Wasn't too bad. I'm not smelling the brakes. We had to take this mountain. This was a good way to do it.
This is Prescott Valley, I believe. That's how the locals say it. Prescott, not Prescott.
Right, I don't call it Prescott either. I call it Prescott.
So you can see we got a bunch of new home developments here,
Yes,
Bob.
we sure do.
A place where I think a lot of people from your neck of the woods, from the Midwest, have moved out here, from all over the country, seeking sunny weather, warmer weather, cheaper living costs. So Bob, I asked you off camera, I'll ask you again. Top 3 states, if you got to settle down, can't go anywhere, what are they?
Arizona, California by the Green River, San Bernardino going west towards LA. I do like Tennessee. There's some pretty cool places in Tennessee.
Here we are in Prescott, food truck scene, the yard, and here we got a cool downtown. Bob, what do you know about Prescott?
Well, this was the original capital of the state, the territorial capital.
Ranching?
Ranching, and then also it was a mining service. So services, banks, things that mines need. So this town also served the mines. This is a big town compared to where we've been today.
All right, Bob, this video is getting pretty long. I say we just go to the downtown here, check it out. This town deserves a completely separate video on its own.
Yeah.
Some other time. Oh, how you doing?
Your video.
Thank you, brother.
What is this rig?
We're making a video right now.
Right on.
What's your name?
My name's Randy.
You're from here?
Yes.
How is it?
It's good. I love it. Mountain biking, small town feel.
All right.
Yeah.
I love Arizona.
I dig what you do.
Thank you. You gotta love the Western wear, huh?
The Western wear.
What's your shirt say there, sir?
Oh.
It's not my fault. I was left unsupervised. Are you guys from Prescott?
Yes, we are.
How is it?
Great.
Great, huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful out here.
It is beautiful. Yeah, it's a nice small community, and there's always lots of extra activities going on.
Looks nice.
Row, if that's your thing.
That's what this is called? Whiskey Row?
Yep.
That's
Howdy.
nice.
How we doing? Good, how we doing? Hi, guys.
It's got like a solid Western feel, Bob.
Yes.
Like cowboy ranching feel.
Well, here's the interesting thing. The more time I spend in the West, the less I notice the Western stuff. It's very interesting. When I first came out here, I could just feel being in the West, always in the West. This is the West. Now, I'm kind of used to it. So it doesn't, I have to remind myself, you know.
Let's mug the guy with the pizza here. He's got
Okay.
pizza. Let's mug him.
He's walking away from us. Understandably. Oldest rodeo I read.
Yes.
1888, I believe.
Right up there. World's oldest rodeo, 1888. Right on the building. Enjoy.
Take care.
Oh, you're the same.
This has just been great. I mean, how many people, when they think of Arizona, you think of Arizona highways, you think of Phoenix, you think of golf, you think of all this stuff. My own personal feeling is that the history of the West is really the history of the United States, in almost more than the Revolutionary or the Civil War periods, because the West is really all about opportunity and people moving west to build and grow and do things. And it's still, that is still a factor. People are moving to Arizona. People are moving out west at different places, Montana, Wyoming, to start something new, to get away from the quote unquote rat race.
All right, guys, just want to let you know, Bob has his own podcast, more about Unit 11, the nuts and bolts of it, also your travels around the country. Fantastic pod. I listen to it, I watch it. Links down below. Bob's also gonna do a special pod with me tomorrow. We're gonna sit out by Unit 11, right?
Right.
Okay, Bob's gonna ask me questions. We're gonna chat, long form. By the time I post this, we'll have that pod done. Yeah. Link down below. Anything else?
I have nothing else. I am
Great
exhausted.
trip today.
I want to eat. I want to eat now.
Okay, we're gonna get some food. Thanks for coming along on that journey, you guys. Until the next one.